Hey YouTube, Big Z here. Welcome to our Week 5 episode of Cash City Picks. After looking at this week's lineup, we have focused our attention to the best four opportunities for success. You know we have a goal of 65% win ratio. We are looking for the high probability of success in picking the winners that will take us to Cash City. So, with that in mind, the first matchup that comes to our attention is Houston at Atlanta, the Texans versus the Falcons, where Atlanta is favored by 2.5 points. And what do we see when we look at this matchup? I see Atlanta has lost their last two games. Ritter at quarterback is horrible for the offense. The rush defense, well, it's in the middle of the pack. And when they go up against Houston knows that Atlanta only has Bijan Robinson running for them. So they're going to focus on him and shut him down. The rush defense is also in the middle of the pack, but they know their focus is going to be on Bijan. What has Atlanta done? Not a whole lot when you're looking at them compared to Houston. Houston has won their last two games and they are throwing well. Versus Pittsburgh, they had a 306-yard passing performance with 2 touchdowns from CJ Stroud. He also won the game previous against Jacksonville, throwing 280 yards, also 2 touchdowns in that offensive effort. Now, Atlanta, their pass defense can be arguably said it is good, rating top 5. But versus who? A couple of teams that struggle with their passers? There's a lot to be said about a passing defense that is stopping offenses with struggling quarterbacks. CJ, on the other hand, is starting to acclimate very well to the speed of the NFL. He is adjusting to how the game moves. See him continue to pass the ball well to his receivers. I say you take Houston half a unit. They get plus 2.5 points. They will win that game. Those of you with a little more courage, feel free to sprinkle a little bit more on the money line. They are good for this victory. For our next opportunity, we have to take a closer look at Carolina at Detroit. Detroit is favored by 9.5 points. On one hand, we have the Panthers, who are 0-4 winless. Their number one pick, QB Bryce Young, is developing slower than I think the league would like to see. He is struggling with an offense that is unbalanced. There is no run game. The Panthers had a very poor showing versus the Vikings last week, so I see them struggling. You look at Detroit, on the other hand, they have a much improved defense. Their offense is surging. I really like the way Goff is playing. He's throwing the ball well. The run game is balanced, or it is hot. I see the Detroit Lions had a good showing versus stronger teams like Seattle and Kansas City. I think this offense will be overwhelming to Carolina. I am not afraid of 9.5 points on the line. I say go ahead and take the Lions, invest half a unit to cover 9.5 points, no problem. The Lions will win this game by 10 to 15 points, if not more. Cash City, here we come. Next opportunity for a direct ticket to Cash City. I'm looking at Jacksonville versus Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 5.5 points. This game will be taking place in London, so we get to see it here at 6:30 in the morning. Now, what is going to happen in this game? Jacksonville gets to have the home game because they've played in London before. They played in London last week. It's kind of like their home away from home, so to speak. We see Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback, having a tough time versus teams like Indianapolis and Houston, and more recently Atlanta. When a quarterback who we have higher expectations of at this point in his career having a hard time facing teams like that, how is he going to do against a solid Buffalo defense that is on a whole different level compared to those teams? Buffalo has too much going for them in terms of offense and defense, I say. Jacksonville, who have they really beaten? They have struggled. Yes, they had a nice victory last week, but it was against Atlanta. Does that count as a solid victory when you play a team without a quarterback? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say Ritter is not a quarterback, but at the NFL level, he's not panning out to be a very good one. Buffalo, on the other hand, is unstoppable when it comes to their offense. We know that they have among the best quarterbacks the league has to offer. There is no stopping that connection between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. The defense on the other side of the ball also does its job very well. I see Jacksonville losing by at least a touchdown, maybe 10 points, maybe even more. I am very, very confident. This is a big Z, big money cash pick. This is a big money pick. Be confident in placing one full unit on Buffalo to cover minus 5.5 points. No problem, even if Jacksonville thinks it's at home in London. See you all in Cash City. Our last selection for punching a ticket to Cash City comes by the way of the Dallas-San Francisco game. It is a home game from San Francisco, and the 49ers are favored by 3.5 points. So we take a closer look at Dallas, and I see a team that is unimpressive. Who have they really beat? Exactly who? I mean, we see a Dallas team that they've beaten teams. Okay, last week Dallas beat New England. New England is a 1-3 team, and who did they beat? The Jets, who don't have a quarterback. Dallas beat the Jets, who don't have a quarterback as well. Who's not going to beat the Jets who don't have a quarterback? Dallas beat the New York Giants 40-0 in week 1, but who's not beating the New York Giants either? And yeah, they took a loss against Arizona, a team that is still figuring themselves out. And now they're going to face the 49ers, and they're expected to make it a close game at 3.5 points. Let's remember that San Francisco is a complete team. They are hitting on all cylinders. Brock Purdy is unstoppable, hitting all his targets at will. And how about that running game? CMC? Who's going to stop McCaffrey? Let us not forget, there are key defensive injuries on Dallas' side. They have injured corners, they have an injured safety, but more importantly, they have an injured linebacker in Micah Parsons. So if the defense can't help them win this game, it's all on Dak and the running game. And he's supposed to be throwing to CeeDee Lamb, who is also not 100% at the wide receiver spot. There is too much going on with San Francisco offensively and defensively for this to be a 3.5 point line. San Francisco is at home. San Francisco is going to take this game personally. There's a historic rivalry here. Let us not forget. This is a rematch of last year's playoff game. And we know what happened there. San Francisco is not going to sit by and take a chance on Dallas sneaking away with a victory, not while they're at home, not at this stage in the game. No way. San Francisco covers their minus 3.5. This is a big money cash pick. Be confident in one whole unit or more. San Francisco covers over Dallas. Let's punch this ticket to Cash City where they pay the man. Now, please be sure to go ahead and tell those around you about our efforts here at Cash City. We are trying to maintain a win percentage of 65%. I know it's lofty, but with enough research and enough reading and a little bit of luck, I know we can do it. Please like and subscribe, especially if you're winning. We're going to take this as far as we can go. Good luck to us, and I'll see you guys in Cash City.